To my oldest and closest friend Johnny, farthest distance away, I wish we were closer. Boy, the rods and motors we could have built if we were still in the same town. But you're in upper Wisconsin and I'm still stuck here in Plain City. But this startup's for you anyway, buddy. This is a 355 Chevy engine, 4-bolt main. It's got a Scat forged steel crank, forged steel rods. It's got Speed Pro forged blower pistons, a comp cams full roller street grind cam solid roller with Harland-Sharp roller rockers and Dart aluminum heads, a Weiand 671 blower it is an early Weiand blower with twisted rotors, twisted 3-lobe rotors, not the straight 2-lobe rotors. On top are two 600 Holleys with vacuum secondaries, which I did the machine work on to boost reference the power valves, and they've been jetted up richer for the blower application. The bottom of the engine, on the bottom of the engine is a Steff's fabricated aluminum oil pan with windage built into the pan. The ignition is a MSD 6AL with a MSD high voltage blaster coil. The test box behind the engine was designed by myself and designed and built by me. It has a oil gauge, voltage, engine temperature, an attack, plus an emergency stop, a push button for start, and hanging on the side temporarily is also a boost gauge, which of course is plumbed to the bottom of the blower. So we'll get water hooked up to this and get the mufflers laid down on the floor so I can point them out the garage door, and we'll fire this thing up and see what it runs like. We had several issues on the original startup and break-in on the motor. The biggest problem was the carburetors. Found that there was plugged air bleeds in both carburetors, making it run extremely lean. No matter what I did, I could not make it idle. We had to manually operate the accelerator pumps throughout the entire break-in period. You know, the first 20 minute startup on a brand new engine is critical, and at all possible costs, unless there's something dangerous occurring, you don't want to shut down the engine. Therefore, we had to operate the accelerator pumps manually to keep the engine running during that 20-minute break-in. Once that break-in was done, we spent several hours over 2 days tearing the carburetors apart repeatedly, cleaning one section at a time and testing and diagnosing and tearing it down and working again. And finally, after several hours, over about 3 days, 2 or 3 days of work, we finally got it to a point where it idles at the level that we want. Where we're shooting for an an air fuel ratio of about 12.5 to 1. Previously, the carburetors would not flow any fuel at all except the accelerator pumps. We could not get it to idle at all And when we ran last night, we had it idling good at about 1500 RPMs. And it was running right about 12.8 to 13 to 1, between 12.8 and 13 to 1 air fuel ratio. I just now reset the timing. It did have a lot of advance, so I fully expect when I go to do this next startup that it's not going to idle because I took a lot of timing out of it. I will have to fool with the idle setting to get it back to idle, but once we get it back idling at about 1200 RPMs, the air fuel ratio should stay right about 12.8 to 1. So I'm going to go out and get the water hooked up and come back and restart the camera and then hopefully start the engine and go on. Well, here goes nothing or everything. We'll see which occurs. We'll have to raise the idle, I'm sure. Sounds like a winner. Hope you liked it. I do. Can't wait to get it in the rat rod now. Now that it's had a chance to sit for a few minutes, I'm going to do a restart to clear the fuel out of the fuel system and to see how, see if the timing's affecting the restart. Should start up real easy and idle without even touching the throttle. .900 RPM idle.